Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm here have Theo today with us to talk about some tips. So, how are you, Theo?
Hi, Jason. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. I'm Theo.
Thank you for coming. And let me introduce him a little bit. Theo is a student who successfully got a return offer from Amazon, and he finished his bachelor degree in computer science. And this is his last semester with the master program. Now he's here to share us some tips. And I have a question for you, Theo.
Yeah.
As a student right now, what's the essential skill do you think for a CS student?
Well, I think like the most fundamental skill that the CS student must to equip themselves is first the programming language that he or she are really familiar with, like Java or Python or C++, that they can
Mm-hmm.
use to like solve any like for interview questions. And also they can actually build project with that language. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's because for now what the software engineer requires is um, the specific skills about front end and back end and the framework they want to be familiar with when they get into work. Like for front end, for the most popular React or Angular or Vue.js, and for back end, they're C++ and Java, like Spring Framework or like Sparkle, a sort of that. And apart from this framework thing, I think another thing that for a student to know is the software engineering, like the developing circle, like how a software is developed that have to endure like five phases. First, they do the requirements collection, and then they design, then they start implementing, which is the developing, and then they do the testing, and they deploy, and yeah, this is the five phases. And after that, there are also like maybe some DevOps if there's some problem. So they might be involved in some debugging phases, like the customer may find some problem within that software. So that is what the company and what the industry is doing for developing software. So I think it's really good to know before they get into an internship or full-time job, like how software is developed and maintained. Yeah.
So, what's your language? What's programming language do you know? And do you know all those skills before you get into the internship?
Well, I think for me, during my undergrad, I have already learned C++, Java, and Python. So I just kind of choose one of my favorites, which is easy to learn, easy to write, or solve for solving the problems, like the problems. So I choose Python for solving the problem. But during the internship, I have to write Java programs. So I think it's really good to know like more than one, like maybe two or three. But
Mm.
um, but you can choose your favorite one for interview. Absolutely.
So, like you mentioned, to get to know how the agile development and how to do the testing and debugging, during your internship, what kind of skill do you utilize that you study during this program?
Um, Well, I think the most important thing to land a successful internship, like to kind of doing that right job every day, is ability to learn. Like
Mm.
I think the most ultimate thing you have to master is how to learn new things, because um like the skills can be like they are uh they are evolving like every day, and there's always new skills for you to learn. So I think the most important thing is how you adjust yourself to the new framework, new language. So I think what you need to do is to like kind of extract a pattern from learning a new language or new framework or how you develop things and generate the pattern and use that pattern to learn new things when you are doing an internship or full-time job.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of
Yeah.
learning. Most of the time
Yes.
you land on a job that you don't even learn that language. So you can
Yeah.
learn it starting from that time, right?
Yeah. If you learn fast, that will definitely help a lot.
Sure. Nice. And as you know, as we know, you have a CS background before, like a whole degree,
Mhm. Mhm.
but in the industry right now, uh, a big portion of the student or candidate, they just came from different background.
Yeah.
So how do you think you have the advantage or something that you know other non-CS background people they don't know?
Um, well, I think for the for the starter point, like for the new grads, I think the things are common for everyone who is recruited as software engineer, like the either backend or front end development. But after that, like when you get to the senior level or something, there's something that you didn't learn during your master program, like the design pattern, which is very
Mm,
important, and maybe the compiler, because like how the programming language is implemented, because like there can be very tricky problem that you cannot really find the root of the problem without knowing the lower level things. So
yeah.
yeah, so like computer things, systems, operating system principles, that is what we learn with the undergrad in CS. So that is the most fundamental and low level things that you may not like have a chance to learn during your master program. So yeah, I think that's something you can learn about during your like extra time to have a like basic knowledge of it, because ultimately you will use that in your career.
Yeah, that sounds so good. I mean, I know that sometimes when you debug and try to find a problem, because we
Mhm.
encounter those every day.
Yeah.
So I think if you know the like a lower level of understanding of this problem, I think it's
Mhm.
easier to debug.
Yes. And even higher level like computer networks, which I don't think everyone in master program have learned that course, but everyone who have an undergrad CS degree have is the complementary course for undergrads. So I think that's also very important to know, like if you are doing like either front end or back end, because like many of our applications are involved in the computer networks. So if you know the basic concepts, like how they build the connection, how like TCP or UDP works, that will definitely helps as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, so we can take the class that computer system that will help.
Mhm.
But as you mentioned, the designing part, what do you mean design?
Well, like as you get into the senior level, like you may not just implement the part that you are assigned, but you are responsible for design the whole project. And to getting familiar with some design patterns will definitely help you to build a more robust and more like maintainable software that can last long and have higher value to the customer. So, and also with the knowledge of design pattern, you can easily communicate with like maybe junior engineers or even more senior engineers, because they all know a uniform language, which is a design pattern like a singleton pattern or factory pattern, so that you
Mm,
can like reduce the time of redundant communication, but just use that uniform language to communicate.
okay, thank you. Sounds good. Yeah. So so if for people who's gonna start, for students who are gonna start their internship soon, do you have any advice for them?
Well, so if they already got the internship, so
Mhm.
they should relax first, and then
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that yeah, I think the thing is they must be um prepared for learning new things. Like uh they don't like expect to like just use your skills that you already know that to do the internship, but you can always expect new things to learn. So just be prepared of that. And after that, I think the communication is very important. Like your mentor, your manager, or other team members, you have to like communicate with each other and to build a relationship and like to discuss the problem maybe every day or every week. So that is part of like work in industry because ultimately you are a team you want to work together to build a project. And um, yeah, and also like to just remember always to deliver the results and catch that never miss the deadline because you're maybe lazy in one day or two, but always have that in mind.
So I shall ask one more question about, is there any conflict or any obstacle during that internship between
Mm,
you and your mentor or any other maybe manager?
well, that sounds like a behavioral question, but
I know
yeah,
because
so
yeah.
there definitely are like sometimes like maybe the mentors think of the approach to solving the problem, and I'm kind of disagree, but I may find another solution that may work better, but maybe just because I can find it I can find it more comfortable to doing it on my way instead of on their way. But I think for this situation, the communication is the most important part because maybe my way is not very suitable to the company, suitable to the team. Maybe because other team members also need to use that part, use that code base. So and I also need to like to to use that code base for other teams to complete their project. So it's really important to communicate with other teams and your team members to actually to align with their ways and don't just use their own way. So what I gained in that experience is not like you find it, oh, I can do this in my way that may be faster and maybe I'm more comfortable with, but always to check with your mentor or manager, um, because maybe their way is more formal and more suitable to the company.
Yeah, because after you submit the code, they also need to look at it and work with it, right? So
Yes,
sometimes
yes.
you have to find a balance sometime.
Yeah, because you are not like working alone, you are working a team.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's all my question. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Theo, for
Thank
coming.
you.
And
Yeah.
we might see you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
See you.
Bye.
See you. Bye.